Let's dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line, you may remember him from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. He has a new band. We're going to talk about it and a whole lot more. Friends, Dicky Barrett's on the line. Hey, Dicky, what's going on?
Good morning. How are you?
I am hanging in there, and I just because I was a fan, at what point back in the day did the rock world go, you know what, we need horns and lots of them?
I think that happened shortly after grunge had started to run. You know, the way trends work is if something is too far this way, and then it swings back the other way.
Yeah.
I think things got a little too grungy for people, and you know, it was great music. Everybody loved it, and then Kurt Cobain died, and then I think it was time for people, they wanted to feel better and feel good, so enter the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, the Green Day and Rancid and that sort of pop-punk, ska sort of era, and we were there. And we were there, right place at the right time. So maybe that was then.
It's one of those styles of music, and you know, like you guys, like you, whether it's Green Day or Real Big Fish or you know any of those, you know, just that ska movement. That was right when I was in high school, so it sticks out in my mind so much, and it was so different than everything else that was out. You know?
Yes, I think so too, and I think that like I said, we were lucky enough to be there then.
Well,
so I think it.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. You go.
No, after you, please.
Doctor. Dicky, you've got the new band out. It's called The Defiant, and there is an eclectic group of people that you've brought together for one musical experience. How did this come around?
If you've been doing it as long as I've been doing it and been in a band, and I was on Jimmy Kimmel Live show for 20 years, and you run into people and you cross paths and you say, hey, maybe someday we should work together, and then that never really happens. But I had some ideas, I had some, you know, musical notions and some thoughts, and called Greg Camp from Smash Mouth and said, hey, he's the guy that wrote the premier songs, the songs that you know from Smash Mouth. And I said, hey, Greg, do you want to try our hand at writing together? And he said, I'm in. And so we did, and we were very careful to keep it quiet, because if it stunk, we would both have backed away from it and never spoke of it again. But in no time at all, we realized that we were onto something good. And so we got some of our other friends involved, some other guys, Pete Parada, who drummed for years for The Offspring, Joey LaRocca from a band called The Briggs, and another guy, this longtime friend of mine, Johnny Rio, to play bass. And we made the album, If We're Really Being Honest, and we're super proud of it, and we liked the outcome.
Go back to that first meeting with Greg, when you guys first sat down to start writing. At what moment did you go, you know what, we got something here? Like, this could be a big deal.
It didn't take too long, and it sounds, you know, very romantic thinking of me and Greg in the same room, but you know, those days are gone. It was mostly, you know, sharing files and trading ideas that way, with using technology and saying, hey, is this worth anything? Or I'd send him some lyrics and say, are these any good? Can you do anything with these? And you know, it worked that way. Or he'd send me musical ideas and go, do you have any lyrics for this? Or I wrote this, you know, what do you think? And within no time at all, really, to answer your question, it started recording them and sounded great.
It's cool when there's that aha moment, right?
Yeah, and that really was. And I can remember it pretty specifically, of thinking, oh, it was the song Dead Language, and we started putting our various parts to it and adding, you know, Pete and adding Johnny and Joey and going, oh my gosh, this is quite a remarkable song. And then from that came the other ones in no time at all. It took us about a year and a half to make the whole thing, and that includes going to Nashville and recording there. And so, but it took us very little time to realize we were onto something.
Dicky Barrett on the line with me right now, talking about the new band Defiant and the new album, If We're Really Being Honest. When you did get the first, you know, mix down of this, when it was, you know, ready to go fashion, who was the first person that you played it for?
Let me think. Interesting. Who did I play it for? I was kind of playing it for everybody, and I think it was for my friend. His name's Bill Armstrong, and for years he ran a record label with a guy named Joe Sib, and the record label was called Side One Dummy, and they put out a Boss Tones album years ago, and I played it for Bill because I always trust his opinion, and he said, "This sounds great," and I know some people that would put it out for you. So I guess it would be Bill.
When you chose him or decided, yeah, I'm going to play this for him, is he a guy that if it would, and I'm not saying it is, but if it would have been like only okay, would he have told you? Would he have been honest with you? Like, were you going for the honest reaction or the, I just want someone to, really say, hey, great job here?
I like people going, oh, this is great. It's amazing. I like hearing that. But at that point in time, I needed to hear the truth, and I know that that's what he does, and you can tell even if he said, "Hey, it's pretty good, buddy," you can tell the difference.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's
kind of been okay with that.
It's kind of the wife reaction. Yep, that's great. Okay, thanks, honey.
Nice,
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Dicky Barrett on the line with me right now, talking about the Defiant. So what's next for you guys? You got the album out now. I imagine touring's going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
What's a tour like for you guys?
We're going out with a band called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, and we start in Chicago and we end in Miami, Florida. That's Friday, April 12th is when we head out, and when we get home is May 5th. How close will I get to you?
We're in Des Moines, so
we're going
Chicago, maybe?
Minneapolis, Indiana.
Minneapolis? Yeah, Minneapolis probably closest, yeah.
We'll be in Indianapolis. We'll be in Pittsburgh. We'll be in Cleveland. We'll be in Buffalo, Toronto, Montreal, Burlington, Vermont, Portland.
You're slowly working your way away from me.
Yeah. I don't see any Des Moines on here. I'm so sorry.
The Defiant. Don't care about Des Moines. That's cool. We appreciate it.
We're defying Des Moines.
Hey, I got to ask, when you guys do a live show, I mean, you have a lot of different, big name bands in there, whether it's Smash Mouth, The Offspring, the Boss Tones. Do you guys cover anything, or is this strictly you're going for a Defiant show?
We're going to probably do the album.
Okay.
I guess we'll figure it out, but we'll see.
I get you. It's always an interesting thing. People will see it. I mean, if they saw, that list of bands, it's like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to hear anything. But if it's the Defiant, that's the way it is. That's the Defiant. It's good music.
Yeah, I hope that people are there to see the Defiant.
Play the one song. The one guy in the back who yells at you.
Yeah.
Do you get that very often? Like just the one guy yelling out to do, some random song, or is it? Have people been pretty respectful?
The Boss Tones put out 11 full-length records, so there's a lot of people that are, have deep cuts